Okay, let's dive in. You've brought us source material today, focusing on a case that, well, it's really stuck with people for years, hasn't it?
It really has. We're talking about the disappearance of Danielle Harper,
Hmm.
Route 79, Pennsylvania, fall of 2009.
Right. And our goal here with this deep dive is really to unpack everything the sources tell us. You know, the facts, the investigation, all those weird twists.
And try to figure out why it's still such a mystery, even with some pretty significant developments later on.
Definitely. And that setting, Route 79, rural Pennsylvania, it immediately gives you a certain feeling, doesn't it? Quiet, maybe a bit isolated.
Exactly. It raises questions right away. Was it random because it was isolated? Or, something more planned?
The sources really put us there. They focus on Danielle Harper, 22, nursing student.
And working part-time at this diner right off Route 79.
Yeah, the diner. And that timeline, it's incredibly tight according to the sources. She clocked out, left work at 10:03 p.m. Security footage confirms it.
Just 4 minutes later, 10:07 p.m., she calls her roommate, Jenna. Says she's about 10 minutes away.
And crucially, her voice sounded normal.
Completely normal. That's what the sources stress. Calm, no hint of trouble.
Okay, so normal call. 10:07 p.m. thinks she'll be home by, 10:17?
Pretty much. But by 10:19 p.m., so just 12 minutes after that call, her phone goes dead.
Dead, like shut off or battery.
The sources just say dead, gone silent.
Wow, okay. And then things moved really fast.
Unsettlingly fast. 10:24 p.m., only 5 minutes after the phone died, a trucker sees her car.
Her blue Honda Civic, right? Pulled over just off Route 79.
Yeah, and get this. Driver's side door open. Hazards blinking.
Yeah.
Engine running.
Engine still running.
Still running. Her purse is inside, on the seat, I think. But Danielle was gone, and her phone was gone too.
So from a casual be home in 10 call to an empty running car in less than 20 minutes. That's the core problem right there, isn't it?
Absolutely. It wasn't like the car was found the next morning. This was almost immediate, like she just evaporated right out of the driver's seat.
Did someone grab her right there, or was it
Right.
planned and the car was just where it stopped?
That's the question. And the initial search, it was massive. Helicopters, dogs, volunteers.
And they found
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No sign of a struggle near the car, no blood, no weird tire tracks. Car wasn't damaged.
it just doesn't make sense. A running car, unlocked, purse inside, but she's just gone.
It's like she stepped out for a second and just vanished into thin air.
But then, okay, 2 days later, something happens, something with the phone.
Right, the missing phone.
Yeah.
It suddenly pings a cell tower.
But not near the car, right?
No, nowhere near. Over 40 miles away, near some abandoned rest stop.
40 miles? How does that even happen? Does that suggest someone took the phone?
It has to, doesn't it? It implies movement after she disappeared from the car. Maybe whoever took her dropped it or left it there. It completely changed the thinking.
Did they find it? The phone?
No. By the time police got out to that area, near the rest stop,
Yeah.
it was gone again. Or maybe just off. Another lead that just vanished.
Man. Okay, so car found immediately, no clues. Phone pings miles away, then disappears again. And then the letter.
Yeah, about 2 weeks after Danielle disappeared, her roommate Jenna gets this anonymous letter.
And the source described it as pretty chilling.
Just one sentence, block letters. He said, "You shouldn't have called the cops."
Whoa! Okay, that changes everything again. That implies someone knows something, someone's watching.
And they're not happy the police are involved. But trying to trace it? Forget it.
Forensics found nothing.
Nope, no prints, no DNA. The ink was from, the most generic pen imaginable. A total dead end, clearly on purpose.
Just a warning sent out into the void. Okay, so things must have gone pretty cold after that.
For months, yeah. According to the sources, the investigation stalled. Until March 2010. A witness comes forward.
Oh, the tow truck driver, Leo Berman.
That's him. And he says he saw Danielle's car that night. But it wasn't alone when he saw it.
Right. He saw another vehicle.
A black SUV parked right behind her Honda Civic.
He didn't think much of it at the time. Just figured, car trouble, someone helping out.
Exactly. But later, when he heard the news reports about Danielle, about the car being found abandoned, he realized nobody mentioned an SUV.
So that was the first hint of someone else potentially being there, right? In another vehicle.
A huge shift. It wasn't just her vanishing from an empty car anymore. Now there's this interaction potentially with someone in that SUV.
And this led them to Travis Cole, the local
Yeah.
mechanic.
Yeah, police started looking into owners of similar black SUVs locally, and his name came up, and his history. Well, it raised flags.
The sources describe it as shady. What did that involve?
Things like a harassment charge, a DUI, and maybe most disturbingly, several reports that he'd followed women home
From where?
from the same diner where Danielle worked.
Oh, okay. That's a connection.
A very concerning one.
Yeah.
So now they have a person of interest, owns the right kind of vehicle, witness places a similar vehicle at the scene, and he has this history connected to her workplace.
Did they search his place then? Back
Yeah.
in 2010?
They did. Searched his property. But the sources say they found nothing physical connecting him to Danielle at that time. No hair, no fiber, nothing definitive from her disappearance.
So no arrest.
Not then. Not for Danielle's case. They had suspicion, motive, maybe opportunity, but no hard proof linking him to that specific night.
Must have been incredibly frustrating. You feel like you're close, but you can't make the final connection.
Exactly. And that's pretty much where things stalled again until 4 years later, 2013.
And this involves a completely different incident, right?
Totally separate. On the surface, a woman named Tara Whitman was abducted, about 60 miles away from where Danielle vanished.
But she escaped.
Amazingly, yes. She managed to get away after being held captive in a basement for 3 days.
And she described her attacker.
She did. She described a man with a scar above his right eyebrow.
And that description.
It matched Travis Cole.
Wow. So that description from a completely separate crime years later brings Cole back into focus.
Absolutely. Police arrest him for Tara Whitman's kidnapping based on her identification and other evidence from her case.
And this time, when they searched his home after the arrest.
This time they found things. Disturbing items, including women's jewelry.
And among that jewelry,
They found a locket, a small silver locket, I believe, engraved with initials.
whose initials?
D.H. Danielle Harper.
Oh my God, her locket. Found in his house 4 years later.
Yeah, it's a powerful piece of evidence. A direct physical link found in the possession of a man arrested for kidnapping another woman whose vehicle matched the description from the night Danielle disappeared and who had a history targeting women from her workplace.
What did Cole say about the locket?
Denied everything, naturally, claimed it was planted, but the evidence in Tara Whitman's kidnapping was strong.
And he was convicted for that.
Yes, sentenced to 40 years for kidnapping Tara Whitman.
Okay, so Cole is in prison. Linked to Danielle by the SUV sighting, his history, and now her locket found in his home. But Danielle herself.
Still missing. Her body's never been found.
And that's the heart of the enduring mystery, isn't it? Based on everything in the sources, despite the conviction for Tara's case, despite the locket, we still don't know for sure what happened to Danielle that night.
Exactly. The how and why and where of her specific fate remain unanswered, and that leaves room for theories.
Yeah, the sources mention some people, maybe family or friends, holding out hope she could still be alive somewhere.
It's a desperate hope, but understandable given the lack of closure. Others look at the locket, Cole's conviction, and think she was likely one of several victims, that maybe he was involved in more disappearances we don't even know about.
And then there's that local legend, the sort of ghost story element.
Right. Drivers on Route 79 passing that spot where her car was found, some claim they've seen a figure, a woman in white on the roadside.
It just shows how deeply this unsolved case has woven itself into the local fabric, you know? The unanswered questions just linger.
They really do. It becomes part of the place itself.
So, just to pull it all together from the sources, we have the incredibly fast disappearance from a running car, the phone pinging 40 miles away, suggesting movement, the creepy anonymous letter.
Then the witness seeing the black SUV, leading to Travis Cole with his history. And finally, years later, Cole's arrest for kidnapping Tara Whitman leads to finding Danielle's locket.
It's such a compelling chain of circumstantial evidence against Cole regarding Danielle. The locket feels huge.
It absolutely does. But as the sources make clear, without finding Danielle, without a confession about her, that final piece of the puzzle is missing. What happened right there on Route 79 in those few minutes, we still don't definitively know.
And it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? Consider this. You have a piece of evidence like that locket. It points so strongly, especially combined with everything else we know about Cole. Yet, because we don't have Danielle, because we don't have his account of that night, the absolute truth of what happened in that moment she disappeared from her car on Route 79, well, it just remains tantalizingly out of reach. leaving only whispers, theories, and that deep, unsettling silence.